This is Inside Badger Football with head coach Trey Shucker. Inside Badger Football is brought to you by Bell Wealth Services, Welch Funeral Home, Wingfield Properties, Southern Bancorp, Southwest Sporting Goods, Turner, Rogers, Manning, and Plyler, Taylor King Law, Trinity Temple Assembly of God, Doctors Rob and Gary Rucker, Eccles, Thompson, and Kneebone CPA, South Central Connect, Java Primo, Southwest Auto Group, R&T Dixon Enterprises, Ludwig's Bakery, the law offices of Gina White, Patterson Federal Credit Union, Batson Signs, Print Mania, Scott Bird DDS, Sexton Law Firm, Chad Kesterson Shelter Insurance, Chicken Express, Pediatrics Plus, and Providence Veterinary Care. The host of Inside Badger Football is Cooper Darr.
Welcome back to Inside Badger Football. I'm Cooper Darr. Joining me is head coach Trey Shucker. Good to see you, Coach.
Always glad to be here, especially after a win.
Yes, sir. Huge win. And I want to talk about that just a little bit. We traveled to Nashville this past week, last Friday night. Huge victory over the Scrappers, which the Scrappers, they're usually a good team. You know, historically they've been a good team. Let's talk about Nashville just a little bit. We had a good defensive start, a turnover. Let's talk about the beginning of the game a little bit.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned Nashville. It's always good to get the first conference win of the year. Sometimes the hardest one's the first one to get. And historically, you know, Nashville is a really good team. They still are. We played really, really well. It started off from the very start, you know, big defensive interception, put our offense in good field position to capitalize and get points, and we did. And it just kind of snowballed from there. You know, we did a lot of really good things. Thought we played with really good energy, execution, all of that. But we still had some opportunities to do some other things. We got stopped on fourth down offensively a couple times. And so, you know, there were still a lot of things that we could get better at moving forward. You know, the score doesn't show that kind of stuff, but we're very happy with the win. Excited about all three phases of the game and how we played. But, you know, just there's a lot of things that we can get better at and still improve on.
That's right. You mentioned it was the start of conference, starting 1-0. It's a new season from the preseason to now conference play. The road to the Rock really starts now, but each game is the most important game.
We're just worried about the next one.
That's right. That's right. Well, what I liked is y'all didn't quit at all the whole game. It was pedal to the metal the entire time. Let's talk about some of your guys that just kept the energy alive, and obviously the score helped, but talk about some players that helped.
Yeah, you know, I think we got to start with the defense. You know, starting off the game, Ryan Roberts gets a huge interception to start the game off, and really, you know, we just fed off of that. You know, it's easy to feed off of when you get a big defensive interception on the second play of the game, and almost took it all the way back. You know, put our offense in the goal line position, and just overall defense, I thought played lights out. You know, defense didn't really allow much to happen. You know, late in the game, I know they were able to move the ball a little bit, but early in the game, especially the first half, our defense really made it hard on them, put our offense in good field position. You know, our defensive line, our defensive front had a huge game. I thought we were very disruptive in the run and the pass game. Our linebackers really did a good job of fitting off of our defensive line play, and then our back end did a good job as well. Whenever it's time for them to throw the ball in passing situation, I thought our secondary did a really good job.
Continuing on with Nashville, I want to go ahead and look at the highlights from this past week, looking from first quarter all the way on. We see the guys are running out right here in the nice white uniforms, and it's just the Arkadelphia Badgers always, they look good. It's always looking good.
Yeah, we think the same thing.
The away uniforms, and you see the guys coming out right there. And I want to talk about kind of this first little defensive drive. We usually see the Badgers starting off with the ball, but we see defense coming out. And talk about just how big this turnover that we're about to see on the highlights. Talk about how big this turnover was to start this game.
It's huge. You know, our defense, our defense plays with a lot of energy and excitement, and they fly around there fast. And so if we can go out there, you know, they won the coin toss, accepted the ball. Our defense went out there and just said, hey, we're going to set the tone early, and they did. It didn't take very long. Second play was that interception by Ryan Roberts. Almost took it all the way back, got tackled in the goal line area, and our offense went out, and I thought we asserted our dominance at the line of scrimmage on that first drive. kept the ball on the ground. Took a couple plays to do it, but we got in the end zone. Kyle Reed with a big run up front, got it blocked up really well.
Talk about having McCoy coming back for this game. He was out 2 weeks ago, had the open week to kind of prepare for this week. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I thought Bryce McCoy, our sophomore quarterback, did a really good job of showing off his arm talent. You know, he threw for 63% completion percentage, I believe, over 350 yards passing and 4 touchdowns. You know, I thought he did a really good job of showing what he could do with his arm. You know, our receivers did a great job of getting into the routes and then just making plays when they had the ball in their hands. You know, there was a lot of broken tackles by our receivers. You know, big plays after the first contact, and you know, just really what it came down to was creating explosive plays, and our receivers did that up front. I thought our guys did a really good job of protecting McCoy pretty much all night. I thought we controlled the line of scrimmage in the pass game for sure. You know, just based off of what they were giving us, we ended up throwing the ball for a lot of yards, and very proud of how our offense was able to create explosive plays.
That's good. You mentioned the offensive line a little bit. Protecting McCoy,
Yeah.
I got to meet your left guard and left tackle at Waffle House after the game.
Really?
So they were eating good after protecting all
Good.
night.
They need to keep eating good.
That was good. Well, I want to talk about a little bit with this defensive line. We had some huge plays come from the defensive line.
Yeah.
Talk about some guys and some plays that we'll see later on in the highlights.
Yeah, so you know, our defensive line is pretty deep. We had 5 guys in the game that we felt good about rotating in, 5 or 6 guys that kind of got in and made plays for us. You know, that was a big play by defensive end Skylar McClure getting up the field, Xavier Williams getting up the field, really creating a lot of pressure on the quarterback, and then followed by right here, you know, you see Orion Roberts. We're able to get the ball to him quick, and he's able to do everything just using his athletic ability. You know, when you can do something like that and create an explosive play off of a quick throw, makes it really tough on a defense. And so we've got the guys that are able to do that, and that's one thing that we feel good about moving forward, our ability to create plays just by getting the ball in our playmakers' hands.
What I noticed a lot this game, moving back to the defensive side, we're kind of just hopping around, just talking about football here. It's a good conversation to have. Talk about the defensive side a little bit. I saw a lot of guys make a lot of great tackles this week. There were a lot of great form tackles, and I know y'all had an open week this last week. Is that something y'all worked on during this week?
Absolutely. It's something that we work on every week, but in our open week, you know, last week we were off the week before Nashville week, and you know, we use that week to get back to ourselves and just, like you see right there, just bringing violence and intensity on defense. It's something that our defense staff takes pride in, that we take pride in as a program, is playing good defense. And it starts with tackling, you know, and it starts with getting off blocks and getting to the football. And, you know, scheme and all that goes into it, but you've got to be physical. You've got to be able to get off blocks. You've got to be able to run, and you've got to be able to tackle when you get there. And so those are the things that we're big on defensively. And our guys have really taken to that. You know, I think that any team we play knows that it's going to be a battle when they go up against our defense. Our defense is really fast. They get to the ball really quick, and they're aggressive tacklers, and that's what we want to be. We want to be known as aggressive tackling defense.
We see Wagner making another touchdown right there. Talk about just your receivers. I mean, obviously we saw Orion get a huge touchdown there, and Wagner get a touchdown right there as well. Talk about your receivers a little bit, Coach.
Yeah, they're just getting better every week. You know, we felt good about Wagner and Purefoy and Orion and Maddox Finley are the 2 that are new to the wide receiver core, and they're getting better every week. You know, all 4 of them made plays Friday night. We feel good about all 4 of them in any situation that if we ask them to step up and make a play, that they're going to do it. And, you know, we're very fortunate to have 4 guys that we feel really good about. You know, they just can make it happen at any time. And then we've got McCoy in the backfield that, you know, he can get the ball to him. You know, he's got an extremely talented arm, throws the ball with great velocity. His accuracy is continuing to improve. You know, threw it for 64% completion percentage on the night. Really, really good moving forward with our offense.
What I really liked from the Badgers defensively and offensively, usually there have been some moments where if a whistle is called, you're still wrapping up kind of the throw after the play or anything like that. The Badgers didn't do anything about that. They were the ones being hit after the play, and they kind of just – they were like, let's let the refs talk. You know?
Yeah.
So that was really cool to see. happened this last week. Talk about just your discipline with this football team.
So, that was a big point of emphasis in the off week going into this week was, we can't control the way our opponents.
Right.
What they say to us. We can't control how they act towards us, but we can control, how we respond to it. And, a big point of emphasis was just playing with a little bit more discipline, not retaliating on some things that, other teams might get away with. And so I thought our guys did a really good job of that, just worrying about us, celebrating together, getting excited for each other, and just playing our style of football. And that comes back down to being disciplined football players.
You always love to see a big guy interception right there, by the way. That was awesome.
Yeah, LaJavis Moody playing our defensive tackle spot, got a hand to the ball, and LaJavis is there to scoop it up, a defensive lineman's dream.
I remember being sophomore year of high school, I got to scoop and score one, and it was on my highlight reel at the very beginning. So those are huge plays for defensive line.
No doubt.
We see another hard run right here by Kyle Reed.
Yeah.
You got some tough running backs, Coach, and they love to run. As we're going to see right here, Orion, we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7 or 8 guys trying to take down Orion.
I think we counted 7 or 8 also on film, but Orion's one of those guys. He's elusive. He's one of our fastest players on a team. Plays corner for us on defense, and then he flips over and plays slot receiver for us. But if the ball's in his hands, he is tough to get a good beat on to tackle, and if he gets in open space, he's tough to catch.
I also saw some defensive end right there. It might have been Skyler. It might have been number 83. Remind me his name.
Yeah, Xavier Williams.
Xavier Williams. And what I saw right there was your coaches are doing really good of teaching them how to spill and kill on that defensive line, which is huge on counter power plays. And talk about how just like that is a very small thing that causes big plays like we just saw.
Yeah, our guys do a really good job of whatever the scheme that we're, installing for that week. Our guys do a really good job. Our coaches do a great job of creating ways in practice to, install the scheme. And then our guys do a really good job of implementing it when it comes to the game, when it comes to whatever it is that week that we're doing, because it changes from week to week at times. But our guys do a really good job of focusing on what we've got to do to be effective that week on defense, on offense, and in special teams.
Looking at some of these highlights once again, we have number 10 coming into the game.
Yeah. Sophomore Caden Whitaker was able to come in, and he's a strong running back. Runs the ball very physical, really hard. And he's gotten better over the past couple weeks also. He's a guy that we're starting to feel more and more comfortable about getting in the game and doing a really good job and getting some really good production out of him. And that running back spot, we're very fortunate to be able to have 3 running backs that we feel like can go in at any time and get some really good production for us, be strong runners, get positive yards, do what they're supposed to do in the run and the pass game, whether it's blocking in the pass game or running in the routes. Just 3 guys. We've got 3 guys that we feel really good about.
Once again, we see a good tackle, just making good plays. And what I really liked about this game, you're up. We have the good sportsmanship rule, the mercy rule, and I like to see some of the young guys getting in, getting some high school reps. Talk about some young guys. Let's shout them out. How good of a game they had.
Yeah, anytime that we're in the sportsmanship rule, we want to get the next guys in because they deserve it. And that's how we develop as a program. The more reps that our whole team can get, the better that we're going to be. That it's hard to duplicate Friday night experience, even with JV games. Getting them in on these nights, on these Friday nights, is huge. And so really big right here. Really nice block by Nate Alexander, senior wide receiver. And then Jaden Rilliford was able to catch the ball and get up the field, up the sideline. You saw him make a play on a defender and got some good positive yards. Colton Plyler right there defending the pass, plays safety. He's a junior. Colton's another guy that's gotten better and better every week. He's been able to get some snaps. He was able to get some snaps earlier in the game, but he's one of those guys that we're starting to feel really, really good about. Continue to get better every week and get more quality reps.
We see, once again, a huge gang tackle right there by the defense, and that was also some of your younger guys
Yeah.
at the end of the game. It's really cool to see how your older guys will all chase to the football, but also your younger guys are doing the same thing.
Yeah, and you know, at halftime, you know, in the situation is always, doesn't matter what the score is. You know, I know we were up quite a bit at half, but the halftime speech in that situation is it's 0-0 at halftime. We want to go out and execute. It does not matter who's in. It doesn't matter what the score is. You know, if you're playing in the game, it's for a reason. You know, we don't just put people out there just because. If they're in the game, it's because we feel good about that. They're going to know what they're going to do. And so the expectation doesn't change. You know, whether it's the starters, whether it's the next group in, you know, they know that the expectation is to go execute. We expect them to do that, and that's what we're coaching them to do. And so whether it's the starters in the game or the next guys in, we expect the intensity to stay the same. We expect the execution to stay the same, and they know that, and they do a really good job of it. And you saw that coming in with those next guys in the second half. Thought they did a really good job coming in, executing our plays, playing physical, getting to the football and tackling, being violent. All those things, that's the expectation no matter who it is.
That's right. Well, let's look at the players of the week from this Nashville game versus the Badgers. Offensive player of the week, Ryan Roberts. Let's talk about Orion just a little bit more.
Yeah, you know, we mentioned him during the highlights quite a bit. You know, you saw multiple big plays by him. He had his best game, had over 50 yards receiving, had 7 catches, led both in the number of catches and receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. Just big playmaker for us on the night, big offensive production.
He was great. Even defensively, he was great.
Yeah, he did a great job on defense as well. Yeah.
So, just
started
a great
the game
player.
off.
Great player.
Yeah.
Defensive player of the week.
Defensive player, yep. Quintavion Morris plays outside linebacker, junior. He was one of our leading tacklers on the night, had a PBU, had a tackle for loss. Just a huge night for us overall. I mean, he was all over the field. Just a lot of production for us on the defensive side.
Well, let's move on to the special teams player of the week right here. And we have
Xavier Williams plays, he's a junior defensive end for us, but in the special teams, had some huge tackles on our kickoff unit. He's one of those guys, he plays defensive end, but he runs like a deer. I mean, he can get down the field and cover down really fast. That's why he's on that unit, does a great job of it. He's aggressive, always brings the intensity and energy. And, you know, that's what we ask in our kickoff unit. Got to get down the field, got to play with energy, stay in your lane, and then you got to make the play when you get there, and he definitely does.
That's right, and he's definitely a ball of energy.
Yeah,
every time he made a play, I just saw him.
Always.
He was hooping and hollering, so that was awesome.
Yes,
let's talk about our Badger Spirit Award winner of this week.
Yeah, Stan Escalante. He's our he's like our life coach. He's the guy that's around our program. He's there for our players, our coaches, anybody that's involved with us. He's kind of that guy that is always willing to help out no matter what. Whatever it is, he's there to kind of just alleviate some of the things off of our plate. He's there for our players anytime that we've got a player going through some things. You know, he's a certified counselor, and so he's kind of that guy for us. He's like a guy that anybody can go to kind of get some counseling, get some advice, just get some help with different things, and he does a really good job. We're very fortunate to have him around our program.
That's really great. I don't see a lot of high school programs that actually have people like that, so
yeah,
that's very important.
We're very fortunate.
As a player, I mean, I would have loved that, so
yeah,
that's great. So congratulations, Stan, on the Badger Spirit Award. Let's go ahead and move on to our player interview as we're going to look at senior wide receiver and defensive back Braden Wagner. So let's head on over to Arkadelphia High School.
I'm here with Braden Wagner, number 1 for the Badgers. Braden, how long have you been playing football, and what do you like most about it?
I've been playing football for 12 years, and what I like most about it is that it takes everyone to be successful. You have to have everyone doing their job. That's the only way that you can be successful.
You moved from Canyon, Texas to Arkadelphia the summer before your junior season. How did football help with that transition?
Well, since I got here a little bit before school started, I was able to start football and meet some of the guys on the team and make some friends before school had already started.
Braden, what is your favorite thing about Friday Night Lights at Badger Stadium?
Definitely the Badger walk. It's a lot of fun just being able to walk all the way down from the locker room, down through the ramp and to the field.
With the first week of conference play complete, what is your main goal for the season?
Obviously to win conference, go undefeated in conference, and then, of course, make it to the state championship. And the only way we can do that is if we go 1-0 every week and just practice good every week and be focused.
Okay, now it's time for 5 questions, just a pop quiz. You have to answer like instantly. You ready?
Yep.
What is your favorite color?
Navy blue.
Go to Sonic order.
Ooh, root beer with vanilla and cream.
What is your favorite NFL team?
The Chiefs.
Chiefs. What is your favorite sport that's not football or basketball? Your fun
Golf.
sport. Golf. And then what's your best like pregame ritual? You do it every week.
Just stretching.
Stretching.
Well, we're happy to hear Braden Wagner stretches before games.
Yeah, I'm glad he does.
It's a great pregame ritual. Stay with that, please.
Very original.
That's really good. That's really good. Let's go ahead and look at the 4A7. Let's look around the conference right here. Of the 4A7, we kind of have a tier system going on right here. Who won, who didn't win this past week. We have Arkadelphia sitting at the top 1-0, 2-2 overall. Ashdown, Bauxite, and Malvern are all in that tier 1. And then Tier 2, Fountain Lake, Genoa Central, Haskell Harmony Grove, and Nashville, okay? So let's look at this week in the 4A7. We have Ashdown at Genoa Central, Malvern at Haskell Harmony Grove, Nashville at Fountain Lake, and Bauxite, obviously, at Arkadelphia, okay? So we're going to look at that last game, Bauxite and Arkadelphia. It's another game of conference, Coach. Yeah. We started 1-0 in conference. We're going on to the next one. It's the most important one because it's the next one.
That's right.
So let's talk about Bauxite. I'll kind of just put the ball in your court. Let's talk about Bauxite, Coach.
They're a good football team. Last week they scored 78 points on Fountain Lake, so they like to run the football. They're very ground and pound heavy. They kind of what you call a power spread team. Right. You know, they'll shotgun snap it, but they're a heavy run team. They've got a couple really good players, one of them being Marcus Wimberly. He's committed to the University of Oklahoma. He plays offense and defense. He's a guy that they need to get the ball to. They want to get the ball to. And on defense, he's kind of the guy that kind of makes them go. Defensively, they align to a lot of different ways, to a lot of different formations. And so we've got to do a good job of, just kind of understanding their alignment, identifying it, and then going and executing what we've got called.
That's right. Well, it's homecoming week.
Yep.
Let's talk about homecoming a little bit. That's not going to be, we know it's not going to be a distraction to the guys at all.
Yeah.
And so should be a fun week of football, though, against
It
Bauxite.
is, and that's the thing is, our guys do a really good job of focusing. There is going to be some other things going on with homecoming this week, but our guys know that it's conference. We've got a football game, and that's really what it's about on Friday is the football game for us. There's a lot of things that go along with homecoming that are really good, but our guys understand that for us, the whole focus is the football game, and they know that.
That's right. Well, come out to the football game this week. It's Friday at home, homecoming game. Huge game against Bauxite. Yep. The festivities will start around 6:15, and kickoff is always at 7. So if you can't come to the game, watch the broadcast at ArkadelphiaBadgerTV.com. So come out, support the Badgers, and thanks for joining, and we'll see you next week. Go Badgers.
Go Badgers.
Inside Badger Football is brought to you by Bell Wealth Services, Welch Funeral Home, Wingfield Properties, Southern Bancorp, Southwest Sporting Goods, Turner, Rogers, Manning, and Plyler, Taylor King Law, Trinity Temple Assembly of God, Doctors Rob and Gary Rucker, Eccles, Thompson, and Kneebone CPA, South Central Connect, Java Primo, Southwest Auto Group, R&T Dixon Enterprises, Ludwig's Bakery, the law offices of Gina White, Patterson Federal Credit Union, Batson Signs, Print Mania, Scott Bird DDS, Sexton Law Firm, Chad Kesterson Shelter Insurance, Chicken Express, Pediatrics Plus, and Providence Veterinary Care. Inside Badger Football is produced weekly by the Rogers Department of Communications at Ouachita Baptist University and the Ouachita Sports Digital Network.